Okay, so this is the solar charge controller that I got. It's the super popular, you know, everyone gets these, the EP Ever. This is from the Tracer series. It'll do 12 or 24 volt, and I got the 40 amp, at least for right now, because I really don't think that I'm going to add any more panels to the top. I mean, you never know, but with that much battery power and the fact that I'm not going to be using that much energy in general, I just don't think I'm going to need any more than that. I mean, if my size gets any bigger, then maybe, but until then, no. But anyway, here it is. This is the main solar charge controller. These things are super user-friendly. Everything is clearly marked. You really don't have to do a whole lot of guessing whatsoever in order to figure out what needs to be taking place. I mean, these two wires are your positive and negative for your solar panel. These two wires here are the positive and negative for your battery terminal. And these two ports you could use in order to run a DC load directly off the solar panels if you want. It's got a temperature sensor down here on the left, and then it's got a communication sensor for the MT50. It's basically a remote monitoring panel that you can mount anywhere, so that you can easily see what's going on with your solar system at a glance. That way, you don't have to have this big thing out in the open. You can just use this smaller panel. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen these before. But yeah, so that way you can just mount this little guy like up here on your cabinets or something without having to have that huge, charge controller. Because, I mean, the charge controller does have a screen on it, but, I mean, I don't think anyone is super excited about having this unattractive thing, just hanging out randomly inside your camper. But, I mean, some of you might not care, but yeah, this is a little bit more compact and a whole lot more discreet. That's for sure. Alright, it's the next day, and I apologize for the AC running, but it is rainy here, and it's super humid, so I'm running the AC to try and keep all the humidity out. But here's what I'm working with now, okay? So I cleared out this drawer. I went on ahead and got the batteries here. I don't know if I'm going to leave them like this. I kind of want to leave them up so that the terminals are facing upward, so if I have to do any reconfiguring of the wires and stuff like that, I can do that. And I've also added a 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and I am now trying to decide where I want to mount the charge controller. Now, I have already had this in here, and I just had it setting right here on top of the batteries temporarily while I got the solar coming in, and I had it charge up the batteries fully. But now it's time to figure out where I want to do a permanent installation. So, oh, by the way, I also added, I don't know if you can see it very well, but on the front of this I have some main terminals, and I added my own 30 amp RV plug. So I took the old main power cable that came with this camper and cut it to length so that I could have this just like the Energy Kodiak, right? Because the Kodiak's got a 30 amp plug on it. Well, I wanted that. I wanted to be able to just plug in the whole damn camper and then have it running off the batteries, just like the Energy Kodiak. So I did. I don't know if anyone else has ever done this. Maybe I'm the first, who knows, but probably not. But I've never seen anyone else do it, and I've seen a lot of people install some solar systems. These older campers, I just don't think that it's the right fit, and maybe I'm just not enough of an electrician to do the automatic transfer switch between shore power and battery power. So this was my solution. I basically just made a bigger, beefier Energy Kodiak for the most part. Now I'm trying to decide where I'm going to mount this, and I've debated just maybe putting it on the back of this drawer so that I can still have use of the drawer. I'm also kind of thinking about putting a divider wall up against the wheel well so that if I ever have a tire blowout that I don't damage any of my equipment, and just putting up kind of a wall here. And that way I've got the wall to mount the 30 amp RV plug down there. So I'm testing out a couple different things, and I'm working through a bunch of stuff in my head. I'm probably not going to record the whole process. I'll probably just kind of give you all some updates and stuff you know, like as I move along. But yeah, this is getting way more in-depth and more complicated as time goes on. And you know what? It's almost kind of getting to the point now where if you didn't already know exactly what you wanted to do, because a lot of decisions have to be made when you decide you want to install solar, and you've got certain power requirements, and there's, you know, certain things that you want to do with your system. You have to start sizing that system appropriately, and then you have to start making decisions. Where am I going to mount? How am I going to mount? How am I going to prevent damage? How am I going to prevent, you know, short circuits? How am I going to prevent this? And you know, you want to do as much preventative stuff, because that is going to cost you a hell of a lot less in the beginning than having to fix a bunch of problems that you could have easily prevented at the start of your project. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to anticipate, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? How could I prevent it? How could I fix it if it did go bad? What is the most cost efficient way to fix these issues? So I'm kind of going through all of that. And you know what? It's way more involved. It's way more complicated than most people let out. They're like, okay, so all you want to do is you just want to hook these things up and you want to turn everything on, and just by magic, everything works. Well, it's not like that. I mean, there's a lot of decision making that goes on in the process of doing any major upgrade to anything. It's always more involved than most of the YouTubers out there let on. Oh, it's just super duper easy, or hey, let's just hire RV Prepper Wayne and have him do it all for us. You know, we could just go that route. Okay, so first component I did get installed. Let me get the vacuum cleaner out of the way. Alright, so what I ended up doing is I ended up putting the solar charge controller on the floor under this drawer. So that way I still had access to the drawer. This is, you know, it's storage space. I'm not wasting it. So, you know, you guys do what you want. So I basically mounted it to the floor down here, underneath the drawer, perfectly out of the way. And if I pull it all the way out, you can see how everything is set up. So my solar wires are coming through this old vent hole, and then the old vent used to go down in there to heat the underbelly. So all the solar charge wires come in here, and then the two battery wires come out here, and then I've just got them looped around, connected to the battery. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Right there, and down that way on the red side. So that part is now done. Thank the Lord. So now the next thing I have to do is I have to figure out a way to secure the batteries down here somehow. I bought some 1x3, so I'm thinking about building sort of like a little retaining wall or whatever around it. Not really sure how that's going to work out just yet, but it should in theory be more than enough to keep these batteries from shifting around with 5 of them all in parallel, jammed together. They're not going to shift around a whole lot, so it's not like I need a massive amount of retaining power. I just need to make sure that they stay relatively secure. I mean, lithium batteries are just way, way too expensive to just go, oh, willy-nilly, blah, blah. You know, it's one thing to do it with lead-acid batteries. You know, $80, go buy you another one, or $150 for AGMs and gelled batteries and stuff. But with lithium, no, you don't do that. So that's my next project. I'm going to hunt down the dimensions of this area, and then I'm going to start constructing the wall, which is going to go like, you know, somehow from here all the way across. That way I still have access to a little bit of outdoor storage, and then I'm going to mount that plug, so that'll be the wall there. And also, it will, like, if I have my compartment open from the outside and people are looking in, it's just going to look, you know, black on the inside. They're not going to be able to see, you know, any of the expensive equipment. That's kind of the reason why I want the batteries shifted over here a little bit more so, because I do not want anyone to be able to see these batteries just, you know, from the outside. I would much rather have them a bit more secluded and hidden and that whole kind of thing. The power inverter will be behind the wall as well. And then I'll just have the 30 amp RV plug attached to the wall. I did buy one of those whatchamajigs, one of the wall mount outlets. Run the wire through it. It's got three. I think this is a 3-hole. Yeah, it's a 3-hole. And then just run the wires through it. Probably here in the back. Mount it to the front of that divider wall, and then I've got a faceplate for it too over here. Y'all gonna have to excuse me, my camper is exploded. But yeah, I got one of those single gang receptacle plug covers, so that way it'll look fairly nice and finished on the outside. This is my rough cut. Man, the more stuff you try and do, the harder it gets. So I'm not sure I'm going to leave the inverter there. Everything's aluminum. My thought process is that everything is already going to be cooled enough to spec, and I'm sure that there are some tolerances in one direction or another. Like I said, I don't know that I'm going to leave it here, but it does help me maximize the space over here in this area so that I still have this full pass-through compartment. I can also store my vacuum cleaner in there, because with the inverter over here, I was about to lose, you know, X amount of space in that compartment. So I'm trying to figure this thing out, and then I'll take the plug, I think, and I will just install it here up against this wall, you know, on the other side, run the wires through. And then I'm thinking about taking some type of small fan, maybe like a set of 12-volt fans or something like that. I'll just run it right off of the charge controller's load, and I'll probably either try to push cool air in, or I will try to exhaust hot air out, because there's actually a vent right down here where the old ductwork used to be. And like I said, this hole right here was by the manufacturer, and it goes all the way over to here on the other side of the fridge. So it's got like a duct channel all the way at the bottom of these cabinets. Still trying to decide, still trying to figure it out, still trying to anticipate what the best option might be. And as of this moment, right this second, I don't know. But anywho's, I'm going to wrap this video up right now. I need some more time to think about it, so I'm not gonna force it. That is the one thing that I do not do, is that I have learned that if I am just in a rush to get decisions made, that I end up having to change them 2 or 3 times after the fact, trying to figure out the best solution for myself. And if I take a little bit of extra time, if I try and think a little bit further ahead and look and just try and understand the problem a bit better, I usually end up doing a little bit of extra, a little bit better on those final, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And, you know, and it still may not be perfect, but it's much closer to acceptable or good than just rushing it along. So I've learned to slow down, take my time, employing that whole patience thing. So at any rate, guys, thanks so much for watching yet another riveting episode here on the Avion Awesome channel. I'll see you in part 3 of this solar upgrade. Peace!